Welcome to our live news update. I am Olubenga George. The headlines. Court denies Atiku Peter Obi's request for live coverage in election petition against Tinubu. Sowore berates federal government as President Buhari arrives Lagos for Dangote's refinery commission. In foreign news, airstrikes hit Khartoum as 7-day ceasefire approaches in Sudan crisis. In sport, Mikel Arteta congratulates Manchester City for beating Arsenal to clinch EPL title. And in entertainment, NSAS convener Sega Link speaks on outburst with Lagos police officer.
This is Alive TV.
Now the news in detail. The Presidential Election Petition Court in Abuja on Monday dismissed a request to televise its daily proceedings on petitions seeking to overturn the 2023 presidential election results. Justice Haruna Asamani's 5-member panel rejected the application brought by the two candidates challenging the election results as lacking merit. The court ruled that no existing regulatory framework or policy allowed it to approve such a request. It stated that allowing cameras in the courtroom requires legal backing as a major judicial policy. The court argued that the request was not part of any relief in the petitions and was based merely on sentimental claim of public interest. It also emphasized that the petitions failed to demonstrate how televising proceedings would benefit their case. Recall that presidential candidates Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party and Peter Obi of the Labour Party initially requested live coverage, arguing that the case was a matter of monumental national concern and public interest. However, both President-elect Bola Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress called on the court to dismiss the application, which they described as an abuse of legal process. Tinubu and his Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima accused Atiku of attempting to expose the judiciary to public criticism. They argued that the court is not a rostrum or a soapbox. It is also not a stadium or theater. It is not an arena for public entertainment. The APC, led by Prince Lateef Fagbemi SAN, told the court that the presidential election is not subject matter of any national concern and argued that the election was well managed by INEC with millions of voters participating. The APC also expressed concern that live coverage will subject the proceedings of the court to unnecessary sensationalism and undue social media trial. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, also objected to the live broadcast of the proceedings. President Muhammadu Buhari has arrived in Lagos State for commissioning of Dangote Refinery. The president arrived through the presidential wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport and was received by the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The two leaders are expected to be airlifted to the venue of the project commissioning in Ibeju-Lekki. Former presidential candidate and news publisher Omoyele Sowore has called out President Muhammadu Buhari over the sad state of the nation's refineries. According to Sowore, it is sad that President Buhari, who doubles as Nigeria's Minister of Petroleum, could not make the 4 public refineries work in 8 years of his government, but is set to commission Dangote Refinery, which is a private initiative. Sowore, in a post via his Twitter account on Monday, accused Buhari and his cronies in the government of killing government refineries while helping Dangote bring his own refinery into reality. He described them as wicked people. And as to the foreign scene, Sudan's army conducted airstrikes in capital Khartoum on Monday, residents said, seeking to win ground against its paramilitary rivals hours before a week-long ceasefire aimed at allowing delivery of aid was due to take effect. The army also carried out airstrikes into the evening on Sunday, witnesses said, targeting vehicles from mobile units of paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, that have been operating across residential areas in the capital since the conflict began. The two military factions erupted on April 15. Both sides have said they will abide by a ceasefire starting at 21:45 local time, that is 7:45 GMT. Though fighting has continued through previous ceasefires, this is the first truce to be formally agreed following negotiations. The ceasefire deal includes a monitoring mechanism involving the army and the RSF, as well as representatives from Saudi Arabia and the United States, which brokered agreement after talks in Jeddah. The deal has raised hopes of a pause in a war that has driven nearly 1.1 million people from their homes, including more than 250,000 who have fled into neighboring countries threatening to destabilize a volatile region. On Monday, residents reported airstrikes in Khartoum, Omdurman, and Bari, the three cities that make up the greater capital, separated by the confluence of the Blue Nile and White Nile. They also said clashes could be heard in central Khartoum. The army has struggled to dislodge the RSF from strategic positions in central Khartoum and from neighborhoods where it has occupied civilian buildings. The RSF, which has its roots in the feared militias that fought with the government in Darfur, is adept at ground fighting, while the army has depended largely on airstrike and heavy artillery. And now to sports. The manager of Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, has congratulated Manchester City for beating them to the Premier League title on Saturday. Recall that Mikel Arteta and his team led Manchester City in the Premier League title race, but lost the battle to City after a series of bad results between April and May. Before their 1-0 defeat to Nottingham Forest, which confirmed Manchester City as the champions of the league this season, Arsenal had only won 2 of their previous 8 games. Arsenal, who are comfortably second in the highly competitive league, have had a spectacular turnaround in form under Arteta, who previously worked for Guardiola at Manchester City. This season, they held the top spot in the standings for 248 days, the longest streak of any side that has finished second in the Premier League. According to Arteta, it is really a sad day that we fell short, Mikel Arteta said after losing Premier League title to Manchester City on Saturday. Finally, on the entertainment scene, convener of the #EndSARS, a movement against police brutality in Nigeria, Segun Awosanya, aka Segalink, has aired position on the recent altercation between Afrobeat musician Seun Kuti and an officer of the Nigerian police force. A few days ago, a video went viral on social media showing Seun in a heated altercation with a policeman on 3rd Mainland Bridge. In the video, the singer was seen dragging the security personnel around before landing a slap on his face. According to reports, the incident has since stirred mixed reactions amongst Nigerians, with many condemning Seun's actions while others hailed him, justifying his actions with the historical relationship between the police force and the singer's lineage. Commenting on the development during a conversation with a correspondent, Segun Awosanya, who has been a mediator between the police and Nigerian citizens, said nothing justifies Seun's action against the officer of the law. Segalink expressed his sincere regard for the Akinkunlapo family, saying the Kuti family are law-abiding advocates of good governance, justice, equity, and fairness, and Fela's legacy speaks for itself, void of violence and public incitement. He recalled that the officer assaulted by Seun was on duty, driving a police vehicle and wearing the uniform of the Nigerian police force before he was recorded being verbally assaulted, slapped, and pushed around by the singer, who has now been arrested and detained by the police. Segalink said it is important for people to remain calm and respectful, even when they feel that the police is being unfair or biased to them at some point. And that's the news update for the hour. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.